Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gururevo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. I bow to my Guru, who is Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, who is everything. That same self is in all of you and in me and in everything. Every blade of grass is a dream of God's. We've got to understand that this reality, which seems so real to us, is not real really at all. It's all a dream. You are a dream of God's. And this ego, which seems so real, how often I've said to people here in this country, in Italy, in other America, every country, do so and so, do so and so. And here they say, but sir, it's difficult. In Italy they say, ma è difficile. And so it goes on. Man should stop thinking that he is this, even though everything tells him he is this. Always affirm who you really are. Always affirm your inner freedom, so that even when you're enjoying things, have a little bit of your inner self apart, watching yourself enjoying. It's a little strange at first, this practice, but as you watch yourself talking, eating, everything, just watch yourself. Don't allow yourself to identify with anything that you do that you desire. Just say, this desire is manifesting in me. Don't say, I am this desire. You are a child of the infinite. There's a wonderful little short saying of the Masters here. It was when we were out with him, I was out with him at the desert, and some of the monks came from Mount Washington. And the Master said you can go on for incarnations, or you can say, I am free right now. It's all in the mind. As soon as you say you are free, you are free. Boone, who was a disciple and was present, raised the objection, Sir, if I said I was free, I wouldn't be, would I? Oh, yes, the Master replied. But the thing is, you answered your own question. You said I wouldn't be. The trouble is, you see, that the mind is already poisoned with the delusion that it wants to overcome. It lacks force. There was a man, he continued, who wanted to rid himself of a demon. He decided to perform a certain Vedic ritual for that purpose. Taking up a handful of powder, he chanted the prescribed incantation over it, then cast the powder onto the demon. The demon only laughed. Before you could say your incantation, he said, I got into that powder myself. How then could it affect me? The thing is, the demon of delusion is already well settled in the mind. That is why Guru's help is so necessary. He empowers the mind to banish its demons. Therefore it says also in the Bible, as many as received him, to them gave he the power to become the sons of God. You see, we have to constantly make that affirmation, but the truth is that the mind is poisoned with its own delusion. And so the very mind with which you say, I am free, is sitting there sneering and saying, are you? And you have to admit you aren't. Because you know that you have this desire, you know you have that attachment, you know you have this involvement. Yes, but don't ever admit that that's you. Now, some books have given people the impression that the way to get out of it is just affirmation. Just say, I'm not that. Master said, the minute you think I am free, you are free. Yes, okay, but he made it clear, and in that same discussion he made it clear that you can't do it yourself. What you need is to have somebody who is already out of the delusion. You see, the most important thing on the spiritual path, and this is why it has been said, and Swami Shankara said, the greatest blessing in all the three worlds is to have a God-realized Guru. That's the most important thing you can ask for. Don't seek him. Don't think that anybody who slaps you on the chest or whatever is a guru. Don't think that somebody with a long white beard is a guru. But God will draw you to him if you are sincere and if you want nothing else. You know, when I read my guru's autobiography of a yogi, I didn't know that I wanted a guru. I wasn't looking for a guru. I thought I desperately wanted God, yes. I was trying to get a job where I would be able to save enough money to go down to South America. It was a lot closer than India. And find a place in the forest where I would just devote my life to meditation. I had read in the scriptures that who wants to know me must go to a solitary place and meditate on me, and I thought that's what I want. But thank God I didn't do that, because I wouldn't have known what to do. One time, well, let me tell you the rest of that story just briefly. I was it was just Divine Mother took care of it. My father was posted already to Egypt in charge of the oil exploration expedition there, and he went to be in charge of that. My mother went later to join him, and I just put her on the boat to go to Egypt. That same day, I was walking uptown New York, and I found Autobiography of a Yogi in a bookstore. And when I bought that book, which wasn't immediately because I couldn't quite believe it, but when I bought it, I was just hovering between tears of laughter and tears of greater joy. And I just took the next bus, 3,000 miles, 4 days and 4 nights to my Guru. As I told you recently, the first words I addressed to him were, "I want to be your disciple." But I found he used to tell me, get devotion, because I was too intellectual and too proud of my intellect. And he kept urging me that. But you know, after a while, well, delusion is such a funny thing. It's so subtle. Finally, I woke up one morning and realized I was becoming proud of my humility. Well, bit by bit, I did struggle out of that morass. And I heard that Master down in Encinitas, which was 100 miles away, had been saying to a few of the monks, "Look how I have changed Walter." And I realized it was he who was doing it. I was just making the effort. You see, if you want a cup of tea, then turn the cup upside down, right side up. Don't turn it upside down, because you can't receive it unless the cup is ready to receive. The heart has to be opened before God can give you his blessings. You can't just demand that he give you his blessings. You also have to open yourself to those blessings. Now, the way of affirmation is very important, but you have to always try to attune yourself to the Guru. When I do Kriya, I feel him doing Kriya through me. When I lecture, I feel him talking through me. It's a real experience. It's not just a nice little sentimental thought. I have found that again and again, if I don't know the answer to something and I turn to him suddenly, I know it. I wrote a book which is pretty well known called Your Sun Sign as a Spiritual Guide. I had studied astrology for a year because I had read in different places that if you really want to understand yoga, then you should understand astrology. So I thought, well, let me find out what they're talking about. And I studied it for a year, and then I felt the inspiration to write a book on the subject, which is perhaps a bit cheeky, I don't know. But anyway, people like it, and it's been called the best book of its type. I don't know. But I can say this, that there were 2 or 3 times when I thought, well, I'm afraid I'm going to have to give up this book because I just don't know the answer. And then I would turn to my Guru again and ask him, and all of a sudden I knew. Later I read in different books about ancient traditions that had been a tradition in the Chaldean times or ancient times in India or Egypt, something. But in each case, my intuition was verified. I've seen that happen again and again, and I don't say it to boast, far from it. I say it to help you to understand that the less you think you are doing it and open your mind, realizing that these masters have a job to get inside you. As my Guru said, that's my job, to get inside you and to help your mind to change. Nobody can ever get there. Many people say, well, I don't need a guru. That's because they think they have to listen to somebody outwardly. But if you listen inwardly, you will find that I don't know how to describe it. It's from inside. You feel more and more free. You feel more and more joyful. And I remember one time, because I was worried about this intellectual pride that I had to work on. But it's not so easy to overcome even one quality. And I remember one time just absolutely with all my willpower, just giving it to God like that. Suddenly I felt so free. I left that meditation and I saw my guru standing up. It was in Los Angeles. He was looking out over the city. And I knelt for his blessing and touched his feet. And he just touched me on the head. He said, "Very good." He knew what I was going through. He understood. But it was his power that enabled me to do it. We can't do it by ourselves. Don't give. I mean, when you see the clouds at sunset, they're all so beautiful, aren't they? But when the sun sets, they're all gray and not very attractive. So it's the sun that makes the clouds beautiful. It's the blessings of God and Guru in your heart that can give you any magnetism you might have. It's interesting how amazingly people can change. There was a person I knew whom I had to go and meet somewhere, and it was a woman, and I had to meet her and bring her to our ashram in Assisi. And I saw people get off the train. I didn't see her. I went inside in the station. I didn't see her. I went into the waiting room. There was one person standing there. I looked at her and said, "Is it you?" It was she. She'd been going through a period of discouragement or gloom or whatever. I don't know. I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about the situation. That the same face, just like those same clouds, can become beautiful or ugly. The same face, the same person, can become beautiful or ugly. And it depends not on him. It depends on what is coming through him. The more you feel joy and God's presence in your heart, never allow that delusion to come in, "I am doing it," because it doesn't come like that. It comes when you get this I out of the way and let him work through you. And so remember, affirmation is not enough. Yes, you have to always say, "I am free," but never with the thought, "I am free." Only with the thought, "I am free." Such a difference. Don't think I. Think of what you're trying to develop. Not "I am full of wisdom," but "I have wisdom. It's not mine. He's given it to me." Every talent that you have. One time somebody told me that a visitor to our community had praised my writing. Well, I take writing seriously, and I work very hard to make my books readable, enjoyable, good vibrations, good illustrations, and so on. But I try not to think of myself as doing it. And I found again and again, and this what happened this time was that somebody compared me to a famous writer in the past. He thought, I must be an incarnation of that person. Well, I didn't take it seriously, but still, there was enough of that little thought lingering for me to say, well, when I sat down to write the next day, well, I mustn't disappoint my public. Do you know that simple little thought? I wasn't taking it personally, and yet I was enough. The delusion is so subtle. And I could not get one sentence right. I shifted words and phrases back and forth like trains in a railway yard. And nothing came out. And then suddenly I saw what I was doing, what a fool I was, and I sat back and had a good laugh at myself. And I said, "All right, God, Guru, what do you want me to say?" All of a sudden I knew, and it was right. 50 attempts with my own mind thinking I mustn't disappoint my public didn't work. You don't do it yourself, don't you see? And then people will always come in and say, "Yeah, but you have to be, somebody has to be an instrument, you're a wonderful instrument." Don't buy that nonsense. He's the one. Don't take it personally, because yes, you will shine. Yes, you will be full of qualities that will attract everybody. And this is what the great masters are. But it's never, the more beautiful they are, the less there is of them. And you see, God comes through us differently. As I said yesterday, you look at a stained glass window, and every pane is different: blue, green, red, pink, all sorts of colors. And yet it takes the sun shining through them for them to become beautiful. Otherwise, before the sun rises, they all look sort of gray and colorless. So it is that you become more colorful, more whatever you are. God shines differently through every pain. He will be different in you. It's not as if God is so incapable of being different that every saint is the same. They're all different. But he will be beautifully you instead of deludedly you. Do you see? I've been also very surprised sometimes to see that highly advanced people can have big delusions. I mean, I've seen anger, pride, jealousy, envy in people who are highly advanced. But I've come to understand that this too is it. The light behind them shines everything that is in them. And so sometimes you can be highly advanced and still have a really serious delusion to overcome. It's a bit scary when you realize it, but it's not so bad once you realize it. Because what happens is that same light shines through all the stained glass windows and also reveals the dirt in them. So you want to, when you can see that dirt, polish it. It's a good thing to be able to see your delusions clearly. You don't have to recoil, oh my God, what I've been. It's just the way everybody is. As Sri Yukteswar said, the past lives of all men are dark with many shames. It's all a dream. Don't take it seriously. You are dreaming now. You're dreaming wrongly in some ways, rightly in others. Learn to dream rightly. But remember, ultimately, he is dreaming through you, and he wants to dream through you. The bliss that he has put into your special, unique creation, he wants to be you in a divine way. God bless you.
Life is a dream, time like a stream, carries our burdens away. Never despair, joys everywhere, love can befriend you today. Free from all care, like birds on the air, soar above griefs and worries, seek joy and be gay. Often on earth, things of great worth, worldly ambitions defy. Sometimes a friend helps us ascend up from life's cares to the sky. Love is a star, though shining afar, it can guide us and help us toward light to draw nigh.
Life is a dream, time like a stream, carries our burdens away. Never despair, joys everywhere, love can befriend you today. Free from all care, like birds on the air, soar above griefs and worries, seek joy and be gay. Often on earth, things of great worth, worldly ambitions defy. Sometimes a friend helps us ascend up from life's cares to the sky. Love is a star, though shining afar, it can guide us and help us toward light to draw nigh. Love is a star, though shining afar, it can guide us and help us toward light to draw nigh.